A single male is not allowed to adopt a girl unless under special circumstances.
I'm going to find a way to adopt a little girl.
When should my parents tell me that I'm adopted? This is your daily catch-up.
When?
Boom.
If you're enjoying daily catch-up content, like, share, subscribe.
Yep. So that you'll be the first to know when Dan comes back.
Yeah, when the real,
sorry lah, not good enough.
No lah.
when the real host is back, guys.
But you know
don't
Dan
worry.
now. Love.
What happened?
So a few weeks ago, Naomi Neo posted a video on her YouTube channel, which I think has gone pretty viral, basically telling her adoption story. And so she mentioned that since young, right, she has always been kind of skeptical, like something feels like not right? Maybe she's adopted, but every time she's asked her parents, they have like...
So for the people who don't know who she is,
she's a YouTuber.
like how did she become famous? Like
YouTube videos.
No, isn't it through Jian Hao?
I thought she's just Jian Hao's girlfriend, then she become famous.
Arguably, I think she was the one that hyped up Jian Hao, but Jian Hao was the one that had the channel.
Really?
Yeah, he has a channel going, but it was between he and his other guy best friend, something like that.
Right.
And then when Naomi and him started dating and then they started creating more skits together, then that's when the channel blew up and then they ride it together. Lor.
Also, she was also doing skits.
The early days
Like,
of
yes.
collab.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, basically she came out with an adoption story. Actually, in the video, she sat down with her parents. Yeah, so they actually explained that they had tried to conceive for 8 years, but they were medically unable to conceive, and eventually, because they wanted their own kids, right, they decided to adopt. But they felt that it wasn't fair or wasn't good to tell her until she was past her teenage years, and like eventually when she wanted to have her own child, right, then they decided to like tell her lah.
She suspected lah, to be fair.
Yeah, she did suspect. But like, why did she feel like she wanted to make this video? You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Like, does it really make a difference
But
whether
a
she
lot of people
adopted or not?
care.
Yeah.
I think she made the video in a sense whereby it's a lot of part of her as a content creator. Because like for example, you go and take vaccine, who care? But you post about it anyway.
I feel I'm occasionally sus about like influencers, right? Because it feels like they are exploiting their certain stories in their life, right?
Right.
For views.
But I don't find this like exploiting anything. Like she's just telling her life story.
In a
We like her
highly
lah, we like
produced
her.
way.
No, I felt like there was a portion where it was like a real time interaction between her and her parents. That to me, I don't know lah. To me,
On screen
it
is
should have
different.
happened off camera. You want to reenact or you want to talk about it again later, then sure. But then that part, the moment that part came up, then I felt a bit like,
But in a way, everybody knows how to play that game though. Like in a way, I'm sure her parents don't know how to play the game. You know, like how like you eat steamboat with your friends. Then when someone whip the camera out, you all just take your chopstick out and you just move together. Everybody just woo game, even though there's only one person.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but they presented it that way lah. That's why I'm a bit like.
Right.
And I also felt like a story like this, I think especially because of a story like this, like I agree with you, sharing your experience as an influencer or a personality or whatever, sure. But something so personal, so touchy, the way it was presented was very professionally done. Like it's a very good video.
It was too clean.
Yeah, too clean. Then feel a bit like
Like set up.
a bit scripted. Like if she just put a camera in her room, then she talked to the camera and she's just like pouring out her emotions, or she see her parents next to her, right? She own self set up one. That one
It's like a film.
even more feels, you know. Yeah.
But
Okay
then
lah.
is that also your content creation mind though?
It is.
Yeah.
So whatever lah. I don't believe anything on the internet anyway.
So the next thing that was interesting to me was when her parents decided to tell her. Because I feel like if it were me, right, the first time my child asked me, right, I would be like, okay, maybe it's time to sit them down because they're asking these questions, right? Maybe it's the age to start telling them the truth. So what do you think is like a good age to tell your kid that they're adopted, you know? Or should it be something that is kept from them forever? Just take it to the brink?
Because the mom was saying that they actually didn't plan to tell her at
Yeah.
all if she never ever asked, right? Yeah, so
Yeah, honestly, I think the best time is when your kid asks. Like, I think a lot of people would argue to say that, like you know, you should let them hear it from you. Don't let them question and suspect.
Right.
Yeah.
but why would they ask though? Like if I adopted my child and I didn't want the child to know, right? I can really just like 100% like keep it a secret, right? This idiot
Not
will never
necessarily,
know. Until we grew
like-
up already, we realized we different skin color. Right?
I mean, I didn't watch the whole thing. If I'm not wrong, like she had blood type that her parents don't have.
Her health
Yeah.
booklet.
Hey, you know when I heard that part, right? You know my blood type is a O, right? My mom is a AB and my dad is a O.
So who cheated?
Okay, what's wrong with that?
Why cannot have
AB is dominant. O is recessive so it's either I should be A or I should be B.
She know, but we all don't know this thing.
Oh no,
shit.
you need to ask your mommy some questions.
Yeah, but I don't know. She said she tests in China A, B. She tests here like A, then she tests somewhere else B.
When she adopted you in China.
I mean, they're just grading you as a baby. Like,
Oh,
pick up a great baby, like, A, B, then they pick up you, then like,
sian. But I always imagine like, what if I'm adopted, right? Like, would I want to go and look for my biological parents?
you would think no lah, right?
I would think no.
You must still try in case they're super rich.
Tell him.
Yeah, then you must see from you must like follow them, spy in the code kind, but don't let them know you're watching them already. Then if they walk like to the poor place, right, then you fuck it.
No, but maybe they're going there to do charity. Maybe they're going to do charity.
Okay, then follow for a few days.
So I have a friend that's not, I mean, not adopted per se, but her parents separated when she was very, very young. And so her mom raised her single-handedly. And so she's on a journey of trying to figure out, does she want to go and meet her dad or not?
So they like estranged.
She don't know who her dad is.
She should know, but she have never met her dad.
Okay.
She know him by a name that the mom gives. Like, that's it. Yeah, and also only because she found out through like his like early partner in the mom's business and all that stuff. Yeah, and so to be honest, when she first told us that story, we grew up in that Gen Z mixed millennial age whereby single parent rather normal in that sense, right? And she also was like that and very happy-go-lucky as a person. And then she grew up and the relationship with her mom got a bit not great, right? She starts really thinking and really consumes her. Like, who is my father?
Yeah.
Why did my father leave me? Why did my father not come and say hi?
It's just
Why
answers lah.
Did my father come and like beep beep during my graduation?
But the mom never gave her the answers.
The mom doesn't want to.
Aiyo,
The
then
mom
that's
is affected that she wants to know.
right.
Yeah.
Which you can kind of understand why.
It's like a is it I'm not enough kind of mindset.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very difficult. That's very difficult.
Yeah,
I don't think it's the right way to approach it from the mom's POV. But then again, it's so complex, right? You cannot blame her for...
We don't know what she knows.
Yeah, getting ditched or whatever happened, right? Wow. But to not give your child the freedom to know who their father is or those answers, I think that one is not...
Yeah.
No matter how much the mom is scarred by the events, right? It's not on her to withhold the information from the child, I think.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I feel like the mom has her right. But everything else also then become super unfortunate.
I've actually spoken to a child of divorce also, right? And then based on what she says, right, it actually sounds like the mom actually villainized the dad quite a bit. So then I feel like in her telling of the story, right, because she's been hurt by the father but then in her telling of the story, it makes the child start hating on the father also. So then it feels like whether or not you tell or don't tell, right, there's a downside to it. Like the way she tell the story, right, might also end up different.
But then you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Because if your father's a nice person and all that stuff, then one of two things, right? Either so then why did he leave me? Or like, so why you all don't love me? They can't, like...
But then how do you determine how old the child should be or how mature the child is to handle that kind of information also?
The results of it being such a difficult conversation is why people only find out when they ask. Then everything's weird. It feels like no one can get a handle on it. But actually you think about it, it's damn impossible to find a good time, yeah.
According to research, right, the recommendation is actually to tell them as early as possible. So the moment they can kind of comprehend it, right, you already start talking about what adoption is and then tell them like why they were adopted, that kind of things, and then like how they can navigate their life with adoption as part of their identity. Yeah,
right.
Which is quite interesting. Do you think that like adoption is like a second-rate option in Singapore? It's like if I cannot give birth, I have no choice, right, then I go and adopt.
Are there a lot of children up for adoption though? I'm so confused.
Not in Singapore.
Are there more people trying to adopt than children available for adoption? You know what I mean?
Yes, in Singapore, yes.
So more people are trying to adopt than
Singapore's adopted
demand larger
babies
than supply.
are imported
Yeah.
from China, Vietnam.
But I heard you cannot choose the country. Especially you cannot say you want from China.
Ah.
You cannot say I only want to give from China. Cannot.
Really?
They will just not give you a different race, but you cannot choose.
Wait, what do you mean they won't give you a different race?
Like if you're
You
Chinese,
won't get African baby like then your whole childhood
But if
very
I
strange,
want
what? You can like,
So you can request.
No, you can't. She just said you cannot choose.
cannot choose. They will
cannot
just based
choose.
on your race, and then they say, okay, yeah, you are Chinese. We will make sure it's
It's
not.
just very racist though. Or it's just
No, but you know
tailored
the
to
culture, ma.
your culture very same to China culture.
No, I think you can opt to say whether you want it
Preferences
to be same.
lah.
But
Yeah,
you
yeah,
cannot say I want
From China.
like some elite baby from elite country.
Interestingly, right, do you know I always thought that only married couples can adopt But actually, right, single can adopt also.
Can?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna guess you need to be above the age of 35 like HDB.
No, dude. There's something very interesting
Yeah,
about
there's
this that
only one
I
type that
agree.
cannot adopt, which is a single male is not allowed to adopt a girl unless under special circumstances.
Like what?
They never say.
No, is that age? Like, can I adopt at 21?
They say you need to be either A, at least 25 years old, or B, at least 21 years old older than the child, or C, no more than 50 years older than the child.
Why? No, why are they discriminating?
Of course lah. What if like got pedophile then go and just adopt a girl?
No,
then
but pedophile
men
could
are
be.
pedophile?
No, they are not.
female pedophile? It's really rubbish eh.
No, but it's like that one. Like even when you go and take a plane, right? You can like let's say there's a minor on the plane, you can never seat the minor with a male. It must be with a female.
Discrimination.
No, because girls
Thank
are
you
more.
for another example.
No, I think it's very normal leh.
I'm going to find a way to adopt a little girl.
Okay, I had a different explanation. I just thought that men, it would be harder for them to relate to a girl's growing up process.
Yeah, menses or
No, actually, I'm just so happy that you don't have to sit near a minor in a plane. Shiok, male privilege.
Is that privilege for us?
Of course.
Noisy eh?
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
this
Yeah.
guy hate kids, huh?
Just turn around. Yes.
Kids.
you don't have
Then
that one
girl,
baby in your
girl
life.
can
that you love,
relate.
ah.
No, then girl can relate very well to males growing up, meh?
No, maybe there's less to relate to in a male.
Wow.
No, I don't know, I don't know.
yeah.
Look, we are like trying to be offended by
Is it we too simple for you? Oh.
I feel like you don't know what you can.
Our simple needs,
Fire.
our three needs. Oh,
Oh, go,
eat, cheat, sleep, eat, cheat.
Do you want kids, Denise?
Yes, but I don't want to give birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you will adopt.
Yeah, I'll adopt or my wife can do IVF.
You know how difficult is it to adopt? No?
Oh yeah, so we actually looked this up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of checks firstly, and then okay, you want to guess price or do you know the price?
30 grand.
The 25, right?
Around there.
Yeah.
Alright.
About like 25 to 35 grand in Singapore.
So we've been trying to have a kid for like 2.5 years.
2 years lah.
2 years. And then we contemplated IVF and then we decided not to. Okay, so
Yeah.
for those that's uninitiated, right? IVF is in vitro fertilization. Right? So basically what happens is that, I mean, for me it's an easy job, right? I show you in a cup, right? Then they will clean and pick the good sperm. And then for her, we need to jab her every day for like a week or 2
2 weeks.
to make the body produce the eggs. Then after that, an apparatus is inserted into the body to harvest those eggs.
Oh,
Yeah, so that
I
part
didn't know that
can
part.
be quite risky. So for her, she got endometriosis, right? So the line from veg to egg, right, could be obstructed, and then the eggs come out might have to pierce through the endometriosis cyst itself. Yeah, and so they pick the good ones. They fertilize it, they freeze it. If you are lucky, then you get like 10, 20, 30 fertilized eggs. If you are not that lucky, maybe you get like 3 or 2 or 1. So then when you are ready to go and try, which usually like 1-2 months later, they will just defrost one fertilized embryo, right? Put it in your body and hope it latches.
Right.
Yeah, so then sometimes it latches for a week or 2 and then it
after
unlatch.
it fertilized, then they freeze.
Yes. Then it unlatch, then you experience miscarriage. Which if they harvest 20 eggs from you, for example, you could technically get 20 miscarriages.
Right.
Yeah, which is the part that kills many of the parents that's trying IVF. Yeah, because you start with 7 lah. They put 2 first lah, because you can put up to 2 in Singapore. So there's good chance of twins, but mostly it's because one doesn't latch. Then you get 1. So you got 7, you try once, cannot. Then you try another one, you put another 2, then cannot. Then you left 3. Then you have to ask yourself, do I want to space this out? Put 1 so I can try 3 more times and pay 3 times, or I put 2, then I left 1. You know that whole feeling of trying to figure out what.
And once you finish all your fertilized eggs, right, you need to restart the process. If you no chance in getting a baby, you inject yourself for 2 weeks again, then you repay all the fees all over again.
What's the success rate like for like the first time?
50%.
50%.
Yeah, so Pat and I are considered young in this world of trying to make a baby, right? And so the doctor was telling her, Patrina, you're still young, your odds are very high. Then we asked how high. And it's 50%.
50% eh.
That's mad.
So it made me rethink, like, should I then now go and do it? Because at the age of, let's say we actually plan to do it when we are 33. At 33 years old, if I were to suffer a miscarriage, right, I think mentally I will give up already. Because like at 33, you need to restart this whole process again. Then it damages your body when you have a miscarriage. Like you will lose blood, you will do everything, right? So that's why the doctor actually suggests, if you already know you want a kid, do it as early as possible. But I think the total time that they need is about 3 months, right? Quite long one. It's not like, oh, you need to keep going to the
It's
hospital.
not like this week I go and give my sperm, then we go and collect the jab, then we straight away jab, then
2 weeks later.
Then the following week we go and take the eggs. Don't have everything is spaced out in months.
Right. As compared to if you go to the market, then you come back, you got baby.
Alibaba.
Do you think there's really a difference between like you go to the hospital now, right? You go and take one baby, like fresh one, versus like it's your own, like you do 9 months then come out.
I think got difference lah.
Does it feel like you didn't work for it in a sense? Like
This-
people want to wait for that, like, well, I tried for 3 years, then I got baby. It's a miracle. Versus I just pay money and I get one.
I feel like there's this point where after you give birth to a child, even if you really incubated the fella for 9 months, right? You come out, right? Then the nurse pass you the baby, right? Then the first few days, right? You really ask yourself, the is this?
Wait, how you know?
You feel like that?
You talking
Like,
like
no,
give birth before?
Because I've
You know
gone
other
through a
people's
lot of
baby
like my
for-
sisters and my friends. Like, no, they tell me one.
Oh, okay,
Like
okay.
for me, it's clearly what the is this? I mean, like I feel I'm touching an organ. This thing has been inside, right below your stomach, between your liver and your kidney, right? Then suddenly, what? They pull out your veg and then you hand it to me.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild as a concept. But anyway, then they just go through that period of days, right, where they're just like figuring out this is a life, it's mine.
Need to foster the love.
I need to take care of this fella. Then there's a period where parents try to make sure they love that shit there. It doesn't come naturally for everybody. And you can imagine without that whole 9 months journey of that mental preparation, there is a damn strange feeling for a good few weeks here, I believe. Hey, did I tell you about the foster system thing?
I don't think so.
So together with my kind friends, right, they helped me produce a video for church, right? And this was for their Christmas. And we met a lady that was in the foster system. And it's quite interesting. So basically, to foster, right, is similar to adoption, but it's not permanent. She just signed up, then she go through whatever trainings and whatever she need to go. No kid yet. Whenever a kid shows up, they call you. So it can be a baby, for example, maybe like teenage pregnancy. It could be like a 4-year-old kid, a 12-year-old kid that I realized I don't want to be a father. I cannot father this child. It goes into the foster system. Anytime if, let's say I want to claim my child back, let's say it's not a good time for me now. Like, I really cannot juggle, right? So you went to the foster system, you take care of for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, right? Then I feel like I'm finally back on my feet. I want to have my child back. You have to give up my child.
Okay.
There's damn mad. And so there was a lady from my church. She and her husband put herself on a foster system and they got a child with special needs. And they only discovered the child has special needs later on.
Okay.
Yeah. And so have to take care knowing that the mom might
Come
take
At
the child
any
back.
time.
Yeah.
Anytime.
And they don't know when.
I think if you give up a child, right, you shouldn't have the freedom to take the child back. It feels like they are treating it like an object, not like a
Sure,
human
but
being.
maybe you are looking at it in a 5-10 year frame. It could be a 6-month frame.
Or maybe the
If you
parents.
cannot have a handle or take care of a child for 6 months, you shouldn't have a child, right?
Maybe
Yeah.
circumstances change.
Yeah.
Maybe
But then
when
they have a child.
financially.
There's no support anywhere, man.
this is the support law.
So let's say
Oh, weird
you're
arrangement.
18 years old, then you get your 17-year-old girlfriend pregnant, right?
Nice.
Then you're not ready to raise a child yet while you're 18,
Not
but you
nice.
might be ready at 25, then you take your child back. It actually makes sense, and I'm heartened to know that these things exist in Singapore.
Huh.
It doesn't always feel like abortion, give away my baby, never see my baby again. No. It's a help where loving parents that want to take care of children help me take care for a few years. If I'm steady, I will tell them I want to be back in my child's life when I'm 25. Then I
Wow.
know 7 years. Then at least they know they got calm down.
Right.
Not like a.
But I cannot
uncertainty.
imagine what that reunion is like though. Like imagine telling a child that,
I'll come back.
yeah, 7
Yeah,
years.
to me, I don't care about the person that's fostering, right? It's what the child has to go through,
Yeah.
right? Like, to me, it doesn't feel like a solution for the kid.
But I would think that to do this foster thing, you must hit certain criteria. So not suka-suka, you can just go and put your kid there and then 5 years later. You must have maybe no means to support this child, but you already gave birth to this child. Or like special
Yeah.
needs. Then they really cannot care
Right.
for the child.
No, so
Okay,
what that lady said that was quite interesting is that because she's not young, she's like in the 40s maybe.
Uh-huh.
And so she knows she don't want to have to continue raising a teenager into her 60s, 70s, right?
Right.
Yeah, so she knows for a fact she has 21 years or less. Yeah, and you must be very lucky to get a baby. In the foster system, it's usually not infant. It's usually a child already.
And if I'm not wrong, when he or she hits 21, when he or she hits 21, right, then they can decide what they want to do.
Right.
If they reach the 21, I think.
But you are 21, what can you really decide?
Yeah.
No, whether or not you want to go back to your biological family or you want to continue staying here.
Do you think a 21-year-old who's been thrown back and forth between
We'll go
different
back to
caretakers will be sound enough to make a decision like that?
Wow.
I think this whole system feels a little bit unfair for the child. Maybe there are details that I don't understand, right?
Yeah.
In terms of like the administrative and like checking about the backgrounds and all that, right? So this is a question that I wanted to ask, because recently in the news, right? There was the case of the two twins, who are disabled or whatever, and then
special needs.
Special needs, right?
Do you feel for the dad a lot in that story?
I do, and I'm
Also-
trying to understand from his point of view, like, cause I also never hear about mom, so I'm assuming he's a single parent, lah.
No, have mom and sister.
Aiyo, okay. But like, can you imagine you are planning for one child, a able-bodied child, and then you get two, your cost already like, a bit scared.
Yeah.
Then got special needs.
Yeah.
So it must be so stressful, and so shack for the parents, yeah.
But right, so I actually read quite a good Facebook post about this, right? That was talking about, like, based on all of that, right? Does it not feel like you're trying to justify why he murdered the kids by saying that, because raising special needs children is exhausting, is frustrating, right? But should we not be careful of saying that they are a burden that justifies
Is it
the
confirmed
murder?
that he murdered them?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think quite confirmed.
Is it?
I think so.
They even brought him back to the site.
I think people should be prepared for situations like this before they have a
But how
child.
does one
How?
prepare for it? Dude, I read this on Reddit, right? There was this mum, I mean, clearly she posted anonymously, right? And she talked about how she's going to send her child to a care facility for the
and she's
rest
not
of her
sorry.
life.
I've seen this.
And she can't be happier about it.
Right.
So basically, she already have a child, and then she have a second child, and then during the scans, right, the doctor saying got very high chance, right, this baby will have special needs, and she's expecting Down syndrome, and she was okay. She was okay with it, and then it came out the child is not just Down syndrome. The child is like it's a
pretty
baby
much vegetative.
form, yeah,
It's pretty
but
much vegetative state already.
you beat the fella, right? It doesn't even look at you. It doesn't even blink. It doesn't even twitch. Yeah, nothing. It just grows. It gets bed sores, so you keep moving. You have to keep feeding. If not, the fella will die.
Yep.
Yeah, and so she has to keep doing that, and the husband went to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, to the point whereby he killed himself.
It was said as a work accident lah, but then based on what she knows is a mistake that people won't make one. And then before that, he also asked everyone
why did
who
she
was
have
in the
the
room
child?
to leave.
So she thought it was Down syndrome, and she said she was excited. Yeah, she wants to take care. Like, they had a choice to abort, but she's saying no, Down syndrome is fine. We can love a child with Down syndrome.
And I think they had the means for that, but not to this extent
Yeah.
of needing that
It's to
amount
the
of
point
medical care.
where
Then they should have drawn the line, ma.
Yeah, but they don't know until the child born.
So you rather that the kid rot for the rest of his life, but you keep them sustained for as long as possible in this state.
No,
right?
or you bring them to this therapy, and hopefully your kid can be a normal child.
At the cost of everybody else's lives.
I mean, nobody knows
The neglect of their other children that now no longer have a father. It doesn't make sense, eh? The amount of burden that he brings onto the family and everybody else, right? There has to be a line drawn. Once it brings harm to others, right? Then there's no point in sustaining that life already, right?
I think that's why she's drawing the line there. So after the husband died, right, then the final trigger was when she found her 12-year-old, the elder son, like beating the younger son and saying that, like, it's because of you that I don't have a mother, I don't have a father, I don't have a childhood.
Yeah, exactly.
Then after that, then
Why? Why? I don't get where you're coming from
it's
at
just-
all.
They are making stupid choices to keep this.
But they cannot kill the kid, what?
Because it's your responsibility already,
why?
Then you want to try and keep this.
No, so she's moving him to like a nursing home kind of thing.
So
Yeah.
they did something.
No, because you're speaking with 100% hindsight, what? So for them, they are full of hope. Maybe we can provide. Maybe my husband can get a raise. Maybe this therapy will work for this child. Maybe my older child will learn empathy and be a very good older brother. They are speaking from a position of hopefulness, what? But we are speaking from a position of hindsight. Yeah, which we cannot, like, what else she was gonna do at that point of time?
Yeah, but I think like what surprised me was that in the comment sections, right, there were people who were saying, right, oh, like, wow, you're so evil. You should still take care of the child. Someone that you should love, all this kind, which was like, I feel like this case is a very extreme case, and it's very understandable. Like, she's not killing. She's leaving to a nursing care facility, which she's still paying for, which I think in future, if she really wanted to go back and visit after she gets over this hatred that she currently has, which is completely understandable, right?
Her husband died.
She can still have that opportunity to go back, like, to take care of the
I
child.
feel like in the
or
conversation with the father that killed the two sons, right? I feel like it's two different conversations to be had. I think many people are now saying, let's not miss the point here. In showing empathy for him, are we saying it's okay for him to kill his child? Completely justified and understandable.
Yeah.
Which
no,
we're not lah.
I think it's two separate conversations to be had here, right? One of which, I mean, murder is murder. But the other side of things, I really feel for him, and when I watch the thing, right, I really don't know how to feel. And this is one of the very, very few times that the social media comments came true for me. Like, I look in the comment section, there were people that were disappointed, and there were people that are saying nobody understands. Because it's as simple as you just judge parents that let their child cry, or you judge parents that beat their kids. But you really don't know. Yeah.
That's why don't have children. Or have some kind of like a parenting course or something to help people, teach people.
I'm sure there are parenting causes though.
Well, there are a ton of shitty parents out there.
Yeah.
God damn.
Like,
no matter what happens, right, and how you grow up, right, it is very rare. Somehow or another, right, there will be something that your parents do that will lead to causing you a certain type of trauma, or maybe living a life that, like, in a bubble or something.
What's your trauma?
Which you need to unfold later on. But you need to address those things, right? You shouldn't blame your parents for it. That's just, they had their own traumas growing up. They have their own life experience. That's just how they chose to do things, right? So you cannot fault them for it. But are parents aware of this? Like, if I grew up, right, if I'm aware of this now, then sure, I'm going to be wary. If I have a child, I'm going to keep all these things in mind and make sure that the child understands these concepts and that they need to go and resolve it on their own. Whatever I may have done, bringing them up, right? Yeah. But our parents know about this type of thing, don't know what. Most of our generation also don't know.
Yeah, I actually read this thing where they talked about, like, there are actually two big mistakes that kids who later become parents make. So one is that not realizing what kind of trauma they have, right, and then ending up like projecting that onto their child, or like causing their child some trauma in extension. And then the second one, which was quite interesting, is the mindset of saying, I will just do everything opposite of what my parents did. Because my parents raised me like that, right? And that's wrong, like, I do everything opposite.
Yeah.
And then that's the two biggest parenting mistakes that people tend to make.
Yeah. Like there's this TikTok therapist. Okay, they watch the same thing. He said similar to what he said. About how he met these two couples, and then they say, like, how are you gonna raise your kids? And then they're like, hey, give us some advice lah. They first replied, we're just gonna do our best. Take it easy. We never really thought about how we're gonna raise our kids and all that stuff. And then he said, don't do your best. A lot of parents screw up childhoods over and over again, and then they just say, you know what, but we did our best, and that's supposed to be okay. No, it's not okay. Go beyond doing your best. Parenting is a very, very deliberate process. I mean, but we're saying it, but we don't have kids lah.
But that's why it's important. Like, if there was a course, right, go for it lah.
But what you want to learn from the course?
Yeah, lor.
I'm sure there are things that they can teach you that you don't know about.
I think whatever.
What are the best
there
ways?
Be a course in our parents' time, then to raise our child today, it wouldn't have made sense. Like, boy must be boy, girl must be girl. Boy and boy don't hold hand.
Boy wear blue.
So that means either way it would have been outdated lah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm quite curious how our generation will grow up to raise kids. Like, I feel like the things that we are open to talking about nowadays, right, is so different. And the way we talk about it is so different also.
As in, you're talking about like the younger one like 20 year. Yeah.
It'll be a cycle, I believe.
Damn it.
Then after that, the trendy ones will beat the kids. Can be like, oh, this is why you should be a kids, right? Book. New York Times bestseller, beat your kids.
Yeah, my mom was way ahead of the curve. Okay, everybody, thanks for watching our episode. If you have thoughts about adoption, fostering, or just parenting in general, you can leave them down below. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Bye-bye.